So this evening we're in the offices of Betterstories, and we're going to be speaking with Minhaz Anwar, who's the founder of Betterstories, and hearing about some of the work that he's been doing over the years to support entrepreneurs. And in particular, we're going to be speaking with Minhaz about the importance of entrepreneurs being able to present their team. So Minhaz, thank you very much for giving us the time to meet. First of all, I know you well, but others may not. So can you start by just telling us a little bit about yourself, and particularly the work that you're doing with Betterstories?
Sure. My name is Minhaz Anwar, and my main job is to help young people to start their businesses and grow it. So I work mostly with people who have got very innovative ideas, as well as when they have got an existing idea but a new way of doing it, and when they struggle to go to market, for example, and when they struggle to get money, get funding, and of course when they want to meet with a lot of people who can mentor them, who can guide them. So I essentially work between the startups and other people that you need to help them to be successful, like mentors, investors, and sometimes maybe other startups as well.
Great. So you've got quite a lot of experience at helping entrepreneurs approach other stakeholders such as investors.
Right.
Yeah, great. What I'd really like to speak with you about today, Minhaz, is about team.
Sure.
And just giving some entrepreneurs just practical tips and suggestions about how they might present their team to investors. So could you share some of your ideas?
Absolutely. So I'm sure you know it already. Investors in particular, when they look for a startup to invest in, they actually do not invest necessarily in the idea, because ideas change, ideas evolve, and particularly at the very early stage when you start a startup, you start working on something, and because of the customers' feedback, because of the changing market, you also pivoted, you change the product, the business itself. But the person behind the idea remains the same. And investors would, of course, want to see, how coachable you were, how humble you were, how honest you were. And also, I believe, if you have got a team, that gives you an extra credit already, because before you have come to the investor, you've been able to sell your idea to someone else, and so much so that you have got those people behind you or with you. So I believe a team is of extreme importance, however small it may be at the very early stage, and it is very important to also keep in mind that as an individual, you are being reviewed for your personal characteristics. So I would say, the humility, the honesty, and also the hunger. So the 3H is very important, not just among individuals who are looking for funding, but also across the team.
Great. And how important, Minhaz, is it that your team is complete?
Well, from my personal experience, I also run my own startup. I think you can never say that I've got my team now complete. It's really difficult, and people would say you have to have a hustler, a hipster, a hacker in your team, and that 3H completes your team. I wouldn't personally agree with that. And it will also depend on what kind of business or startup you're building on. So primarily I would say, you can say, okay, for now, if you are building a particular business where you need someone with a finance background, or with a sales background, or with a marketing background, you can fill a gap that exists in your team, and you can feel good about it, but soon you will realize that you are growing and there is another need for maybe filling in another position. So it will be a kind of constant race to fill in the gaps. You can never say, I've got a team which is complete.
And I suppose being aware of where the gaps are is important, even if you don't have everyone in place.
Right, and a lot of times, when you start individually, when you are just one person, you have to do everything. You have to do the cleaning, you have to do the marketing, you have to make teas for your guests, as well as you have to give presentation to your investor. But I think as you grow and as you can afford, you can fill in other gaps. But absolutely, as long as you know where you are not good at in particular, and where you can probably convince someone else to join who has got that skill, is very crucial.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much for your time, Minhaz, and really, really interesting.